Today I'm going to talk about KinnPorsche The Series. I've spoken about my feelings toward the storyline on social media, but many times I've been met with aggressive feedback about how I should stop watching this if I don't like it, if I want to talk about morals, and if I can't handle mature content. The series helped me explain the experiences and emotions of sexual violence visually. It helped me validate my experiences and allow me to further elaborate on this podcast. KinnPorsche is definitely not the only Thai BL series that have elements of sexual assault, coercion, non-consent, and power imbalance. Many more in the past have had similar storyline, and there are also now conversations about how BL actors are being objectified and turning them into sexual objects, where people wanting to see the body and ask them for more naked or half-naked photos. But today's recording will only talk about how KinnPorsche is triggering for victims of sexual violence. So if you find this triggering, or if you do not want any spoilers, please skip ahead. We'll be delving into some very personal experiences, and we'll be talking about some of the scenes as references. In one of my English podcasts, I spoke very briefly about the non-consensual kiss between KinnPorsche. Reminded me of the first time I was kissed without my consent. I could remember the smell, the weather, where it took place, and everything but his face. At the time of this recording, we are at episode 7, where KinnPorsche was kidnapped, released, found the person who was causing trouble. And at the end of that episode, we saw Vegas trying to kiss Porsche in the bathroom, only to have Kinn, who busted in, pointing a gun at Vegas, saying that it's him who wears the ring, which presumably means that he's the one who holds the power. And he ordered Vegas to leave. At which point, KinnPorsche kissed, and Kinn undressed Porsche, and you can see Porsche holding Kinn's neck with his hand or curled up in front of him. Some argue that because Porsche had already confessed he has feelings for Kinn and that their relationship is of mutual love, and even at the very beginning of their intimate relationship, because Porsche found out that Kinn wouldn't just kiss anyone on their lips, he felt special. Kinn kissed him on his lips. Some audience call this a Stockholm effect, and even if Porsche did fall in love with him, my own experiences tells me otherwise. KinnPorsche's relationship started with power imbalance. Kinn was the boss. The family hired Porsche because he desperately needed money to support his family. He was working with one of the biggest mafia in Thailand, taken away to a location that segregated him from the rest of the world. The world has its own rules and law, and his life now belongs to the family. Once upon a time, I was in a very high-profile case involving a person with a lot of power, and as such, there are only so much I could disclose in this recording for legal reasons. This is a person that I have a lot of respect and I've learned from. And when this story came out to the media, it became a sex-centric story. It was all about the steamy details between us, and someone have even offered to transform the story into porn. It's just like the Monica Lewinsky story, where we were only interested in that stain on her dress. I remember the fear within me when I was asked to stay behind and lock doors. I remembered the phone call when I was told to come up to his office. I remember being told to pick up that hotel key card, or that request to stay for the night, or bringing condoms the next time. At the same time, I also remember some amazing inspirational conversation we had, those that helped me advance myself, and I remember how he openly flirted with me in public settings. I also remember a time when I was given so-called power to be in this relationship, abusive relationship. I have special access to his schedule, and I'm able to invite him to events where no one else could. I felt like I had superpower that no one else had. I felt like that if I could trade my body for success, but none of these so-called success actually gave me any actual power. I just thought in my head that if I let him do whatever to me, I'll be able to get somewhere. My story turned into a mini-series, and I remember telling the writers that I wouldn't call it a rape because he didn't force himself on me. I was not under the influence and I knew what I was doing, but I was pressured. It was a power rape. And I also remember the producers coming back saying that the channel come back saying, well, this is too much of a Me Too story. Is she just saying this because Me Too is a trend? But I can never forget that tiny sound in my head every time when he asked me to stay behind. I was hoping someone would tell him I can't stay and she needed to go. And I was hoping that when we were busted, that would end our relationship. But just like Porsche, I was slut-shamed, I was blamed for being the one who lured him into pursuing me. I should have been more careful and not allow him to do what he did. People blamed me for also not remembering every details of what happened because they don't know that when trauma hits you, you don't remember every details under episodes. And KinnPorsche The Series was essentially that. Porsche thought he was special. Kinn wouldn't kiss anyone on their lips unless he likes them. And he was the lucky one. My perpetrator tell me all the time he loves me. He buy me gifts, buy my family gift. He offered to be my referee. He came to see me at work. He even get jealous when I'm with someone else. He stalked the man that I was with. He went and Google searched him, went and find out who these people are and trying to stop them from advancing. But really, just like Kinn, he was asserting power over us, killing all of the other predators solely because he wanted full power control. It was never about love. It was simply them not wanting to let anyone else touch the toys. Till this day, I still have flashback over the relationship, and it's not going to be one that I would easily forget. There was nothing romantic about the relationship, and when I spoke out about the abuse in public, I was symbolically killed. My world stopped for more than 10 years, and from time to time, I still remember how that whole episode went, and I still get online abuse. I'm still living with the aftermath. And when people said they recognized me from somewhere, I always think that they knew me because of my past. And as for Porsche, he would have physically died if he refused to pursue. When Kinn went to the bathroom and told everybody that he wears the ring, it's him asserting power again in that room. And when Porsche replied back saying he knew what happened to his ex, that he killed him, well, I think he was scared that Kinn is going to kill him if he doesn't listen to what Kinn is going to do or demand. And this is why I think KinnPorsche is a story of sexual violence, and it matters. There are millions of people around the world who have lived experience of sexual assault as a result of power imbalance. The storyline portrayed is irresponsible for victims and their family. Thousands and thousands of women and men in Thailand experiences sexual violence every day. By portraying sexual violence as romance helps support and justify the actions of abuser as norm. And as much as people do not like me criticizing KinnPorsche The Story, this is about how our media could be more responsible for their content. There is no laughing matters with calling sexual violence as norm. Thai audiences have spoken out about this many times, that they do not want to see sexual violence being portrayed on our screen. Even scholars in Thailand talked about rape culture as a problem in Thailand, and this is why I will not stop talking about the toxicity of KinnPorsche.